Previously in Session 8.
Yeah, last week was...
Weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
I ashed a man at work.
Was it a colleague or boss?
It was the copier repair guy.
Tell us.
Well, I was trying to explain the problem I was having with the machine, and he was just not listening. And then he did that thing where he tried to blame me for the problem, and I just bloop.
Boop. Yeah, bloop, buddy. Bloop.
I know that's how it rolls. It's not, just bloop.
Bloop. Pile of ash.
What if he had some ladies locked up at home, and now they can escape?
Yeah, but what if they starve to death in there because he doesn't come back to feed them?
Well, this is all hypothetical, you know.
Yeah, sure, but it feels very real.
Real, like, you're really afraid he might actually have some women locked in his basement?
Kind of, yeah. Now I'm not going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be worried about them.
Do you have his repair bag from his visit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still in the copy room.
Well, maybe it's got his ID with an address in there. And we go and we make sure.
Recorded live at Jalopy Theatre in Brooklyn. Messenger Theatre Company presents The Defense. This is Session 9.
Well, look who it is, the team of heroes.
Gosh.
And we're going to have to give a medal to your defense and your bad feeling meter for really stepping up. 4 women in the basement, Mari. 4.
I knew he was a creep, but yeah, this was extreme sicko territory.
And all of you taking care of those women, getting them safe and hydrated. I'm so glad you were all there for each other. Did you get pancakes in the end?
We were in the police station for so long. It was morning before we was all over, so we got them at actual breakfast time, something I haven't done in ages.
They were pretty good pancakes, I have to say.
Anything would have tasted good to me by the time we got there, honestly, but they were amazing.
Not like a muffin, of course, but very good.
They kept you all night? Why, were they suspicious of you?
A bit. They just kept asking why I went in the house.
And what did you say?
Just that I thought I heard something and I had a feeling.
How'd they go over?
It was a lot of, what kind of sound? What kind of feeling?
Sounds like a long night.
It was a hell of a time.
How about you guys? Did they question you too?
Not for very long. We were all pretty clear that we were just helping our friend run an errand before going for pancakes.
They were a little worried about us going into the house with Mari, but luckily they responded to she heard a noise, she had a feeling, she was just a lady who needed her friends with her line.
I mean, that was true.
Totally. I just mean we may have played out the damsels in distress act a little bit.
Oh, we were so helpless, Kacey. Oh, poor girls at a loss in the cold, dark, heartless police station. And I just kept asking after the women from the basement.
Did they tell you anything?
Not much. Just that they were being taken care of and a social worker was arriving to help interview them. But they were so traumatized.
You got a lot out of those cops.
I just didn't let up. Because I was honestly so worried about them. Like, we saw their faces, we saw how wrecked they were, and it only got worse when the police arrived. You'd have think they could have at least sent women officers, but no! Those giant barking ones showed up and scared them even more. I was glad we were there.
You know, it's kind of a miracle that none of our defenses kicked in, given what bullies those cops were.
Big miracle.
Do we know what happens next?
They're obviously very concerned about where this guy is, so they asked me a lot about him and his whereabouts since I may have been the last person to see him. I mean, we all know I was definitely the last person to see him, but you know what I mean.
Sounds really stressful, Mari. What do you think about us getting you some legal support?
So far, they don't care about me. They just want him, so they want details from me. They're gonna check out his employer, etc. They might stop by my office to just look around.
Not to be paranoid, but there aren't any surveillance cameras in your copy room, are there?
Oh, no, thank goodness. There are cameras at the entrance of the building, so they might look at the footage, but that's all there is to see. Just him coming and not going.
Well, let me know if you start to feel like a suspect. We do have a team to help with this sort of thing.
We do?
Of course. You're not the first to have used her defense and gotten into the sights of an investigation.
I'd imagine so.
I mean, we have the advantage that we're all of us sweet, nice, friendly ladies who would never hurt a fly. That fact alone gets us out of a lot of potentially hairy situations, but every so often, somebody looks at a case and gets interested in the person on the surveillance footage who was there when it happened.
Wait. There are cases where there's video. How come the defense isn't documented?
Video tends to short out right as it's about to swing into action. So the actual moment of the defense has never been captured. And listen, everyone, you're not to start worrying over cameras. It's useful to notice, but what we don't need is footage of any of you looking for cameras, you know?
Right, that looks really suspicious.
Quite. I only tell you so you know that there is a team at your disposal should the need arise.
Good. That's good.
We're all in it with you, Mari.
Totally.
The Pancake Posse strikes again.
You know, I just read about this group of women gangsters in London at the turn of the century, and part of how they got away with criming for so long was that no one believed they were criminals. Mm-hmm. Nice-looking, well-dressed ladies. No way they're robbing the place, but they were absolutely robbing the place.
Did they have a name?
The 40 Elephants.
Ugh, I love it.
I would not have pegged you for a gangster, Bria.
I am irredeemably attracted to it because I could never. I could never.
You could never.
Never.
Lori, though.
Hey!
What? I think you could.
No, you're right, I could.
You could. I see it.
I don't know why I could, but I could. I feel a little bad about it, but I could.
I think Mari could, too.
You think?
Yeah, under the right circumstances, sure.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Join my girl gangster gang.
All right, I'm in. You're right. I could. That's the circumstance.
I knew it.
Could you?
I think I could, run it, but I don't think I could be on the floor, as it were.
Really?
Yeah, with the appropriate distance and the right organization, I could do it if I were in charge.
I don't want to be left out. Maybe I could be a lookout or something.
No, you could never. You'd break in a second.
Maybe I could.
You could never.
Yeah, you're right. I could never.
We'd never let you ruin your life in the gang.
Oh, you'd be like the kid on the corner that the gang always protects and sends to college with their crime money.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you graduate and the whole gang is so proud and we send you to some other city where you can't be tainted by our dirty money.
I'm enjoying the tales of the Pancake Posse.
Me too. But maybe we've gotten off topic?
No, of course not. This time and space is for you, for every single one of you, and we can do with it what you like.
Well, today apparently we wanted to start a gang.
A benevolent gang that sends you to college.
I could have really used this going way back when.
Me too.
But you're not really going to start a gang now, right?
Bria, it was you who told us about it.
I know, but now I'm worried about it.
We are not starting a gang, but we are a group, and if any trouble arises, we'll take care of it.
And you'll have the support of the whole Defense Society.
Why do we never see the others? Why don't we have a convention?
When groups started forming, they did gather in bigger and bigger clusters. One cluster would meet another cluster and become a bigger cluster and so on. But we started to get a lot more attention than was safe for everyone.
How so?
Well, you know how whenever you go out with a group of women, there's some asshole who starts to make jokes about starting a coven or someone getting their period together or some mess?
Yeah, always.
Well, the groups got so big, it started to freak those kinds of people out. They'd call the cops to report us as a brothel or pile up firewood around a pole outside as a joke. We just felt it would be safer for everyone if we kept our group small.
Safer for everyone?
Well, safer for the men, honestly. I mean, we were all fine, of course, but you threaten a massive group of women who have the defense with a pile of wood, for example. Well, it's not the women who get burned. We just felt we'd make a lot more progress if there wasn't a death count every time in every place we got together.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that.
And the cluster solved another problem we'd been wrestling with, too.
What was that?
Well, when the groups grew to over 1,000, they tended to be less helpful. There was less intimacy in our discussions. Everything got louder and more contentious. We felt we could all be more helpful to one another in small groups. The big group exists for times when numbers are needed, but for most things, we found that the small groups are more effective and better for the participants.
But the big numbers mean that we can call on them for things like legal struggles and press issues and so on.
Exactly. And there are some small groups of specialized women. There are groups of elders who've been with the society from the start. There are groups of journalists, groups of lawyers. The group of lawyers is ready to work if we need them.
I see. It's not that there's some law firm on retainer. It's that we have amongst us lawyers who specialize.
And they have colleagues to call on, should we need. Just because sometimes the cases can feel a little personal to those that have the defense. It's better to turn those things over to folks who aren't quite so invested in the outcome.
Oh, wouldn't want to trigger the defense while defending someone.
Well, exactly. That's exactly the concern.
So these other lawyers, do they know about the defense then?
Some do. Some don't. It's good to have a mix. For the ones that don't know, we're just a women's group, like a club. And they can be pretty useful because they see the explanations that those of us with the knowledge of the defense might not think of.
What do you mean?
Well, to us, we see a man who appears to have died from an invisible sword to the guts. We think, well, that's an interesting defense someone has. And the unexplained is often very easily explained by the defense. It's obvious to us. But someone who doesn't know the defense exists will think of other explanations. They'll think of, I don't know, an icicle or space junk falling or a wire from a building. They'll entertain alternate ideas and can build a case for things we can't even imagine.
Oh, right, because for us, the explanation is always the simplest.
It's usually just the defense.
Usually. Anyway, I think you're all doing really well. And I'm proud of how you're taking care of one another. Honestly, it's not my thing to be proud of, but I'm still just so proud of every single one of you. You saved those women's lives together. You all encouraged Mari to go, to trust her instincts. Then you found a way to help her do it, and you went for pancakes. It's so good. Now, do we have anything else we need to discuss?
One thing.
Please.
Well, you know how you said there was a rage time coming? Like a stage?
Yep.
How will I know when that happens?
Oh, you won't be able to miss it.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Why? Are you feeling it?
Well, no. It's just that I got a little mad the other day thinking about everything. Like those women in the basement, and then I started to wonder if one of them had the defense, and then I was mad when I realized she didn't have the defense, because if she'd had it, she for sure wouldn't have been in that basement for us to release her, and I wished that all women had the defense and was upset that we were such a small part of the population. And since I'd never really been mad before, I guess I wondered if that's what rage felt like.
Oh, buddy.
The rage is going to be a shock. You've never been mad?
Not really. Like, at my computer or something?
I think, Lori, that your defense is going to bring you to the rage stage bit by bit. Your anger at the basement situation is a really good thing to be angry about. It's infuriating. So your system gave you a small dose. I think we can expect several little doses from here before the rage moves through you.
So that wasn't it?
I don't think so. Perhaps we shouldn't have told you about it. You're worrying over it already.
I was so upset.
That's because it's upsetting. There's a lot of things to be mad about, and you just found the first one.
But I don't want to be mad.
It's actually kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the rage stage for me was fun. And now when I get mad, I feel kind of good, actually. I used to be afraid to be mad, but now if I want to break something, it feels kind of energizing.
Yeah. Powerful.
It actually feels better.
What do you mean?
I was like you. I would have told you I didn't know how to get angry. I'd cry instead.
I do that.
Well, now I get mad and I punch pillows and I feel better. No one suffers and I work out some stuff.
I mean, that sounds fun. I'm still not so keen.
Maybe it won't happen to you. Not every journey is the same, but if it does, we're here. And I also wish those girls in that asshole's basement had had the defense.
They were very young. They might get it yet.
But wouldn't that be the right time to develop it, right then, when you're in the process of being victimized?
I agree it would be. Unfortunately, as I think we've all discovered, the defense does not always arrive at the right time, and even wishing it would does no good.
That is not fair.
Not at all. It is not in the least bit fair. The defense is not justice. It's just the defense, and it comes when it comes, and it usually doesn't come at the first encounter with evil. It's also never come before a woman turns 25.
What? There's no one under 25 with the defense.
Not that we know of.
I'm 27.
You're one of the youngest we have.
Most of us were in our early 30s before the defense kicked in.
Really?
Yep. There are some theories that suggest we need at least 25 years to grow it. That it's dormant in us and our various experiences help form it and ready us to see it.
This is wild.
I thought we all just happened to be this age.
Most new groups are about your age.
What?
I'm quite a bit older than most of you, and I have my own group of women, and we were in our early 30s when we got the defense and found each other.
We're not your only group?
You're my only group that I facilitate, but yes, I have another group of which I am a part.
Wow.
And part of what we talk about in my group is how to help our groups the most. It's all designed to help us be helpful.
Who designed it?
The women who were here before us. They understood that it would have to be remade for each group, that your values would be different than my values, and my values would be different than those of the women before. And they wanted to make sure it would be a world of working it out with your peers, not handed down like an old dress that would never really fit.
That's pretty smart.
I'm sure in their own groups they complain about how surly my generation was, how sarcastic or disaffected or whatever. But it was never an issue because we were as we were with ourselves. And you are as you are with yourselves, and I do my best to stay out of your business.
Oh, I like when you're in our business.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you. But I want you to always remember that this is your group. I'm just here to try and help, and if you ever feel like I'm not helping, you just go on without me. Going on without your facilitator is, in fact, a sign of growth that lets you know we've done our jobs.
Not yet, though, right?
No, not yet. Only when it's time. For you, could be decades from now. There's no hurry. I'm here for you as long as you need me.
Phew.
I second that.
I third it.
And I fourth. That is 4 fuse.
I am not trying to scare you into letting me go. I just want you to know that should such a time come, I would take it as a positive sign, not an affront. But I think that time may be a little while off.
Phew.
And phew.
You are all very kind.
Pancake Posse knows which side to butter our pancakes on.
The top?
I like to put a pat between the pancakes so it's really both sides.
Oh, I do that too.
This metaphor was ineffective.
Now I want pancakes.
Me too.
Shall we? Kacey, will you join us?
I'd love to, but I have another meeting to get to.
Your group?
Yum. Have a hot buttered pancake for me.
The Defense is a production of Messenger Theatre Company. It is performed by Marcella Adams as Leila, Amber Jessie as Mari, Cosmic Kitty as Bria, Kristen Vaughan as Kacey, and Toni Watterson as Lori. The writer-director is Emily Rainbow Davis. Sound design by Matt Powell. Sound engineering by Daniel Massey. Sound assistance by Angela Santillo. Stage management by Ella Lieberman. The producer is Melvin Yen. The defense theme is by Scott Ethier. I'm Jacki Jing. I'm safe, but I'm not safe for everyone.